Thank you for hopping on. If you're here to learn about Intus Windows, specifically UPVC Windows, you are in the right spot. So let me go ahead and provide some background. Oh, we got a lot of people joining. Go ahead and let everyone in as they're trickling in. So some of you may be familiar with Intus. I know we have a large amount of references in the New York, Boston, and really just the Northeast in general. I'm located here in Chicago, just as a little FYI. Let me go let some more people in. Now, our product that we're going to be talking about today is a unplasticized polyvinyl chloride, so a UPVC window. A lot of times people, before we dive into us, I want to talk a little bit about our product. So the product that we supply is a polymer cladded steel framed window. That polymer is UPVC. It's an unplasticized polyvinyl chloride. Now, what's the difference between an unplasticized polyvinyl chloride versus just your typical PVC? Well, it's all in that U, and that U is very important. That U, once again, is indicating it is unplasticized. But what are the benefits of being unplasticized? One, much more green. You're not going to have off-gassing. When vinyl manufacturers use plasticizers like BPA, phthalates, lead, it's going to attribute to off-gassing. Additionally, when you use an unplasticized product like ours, UPVC, it becomes much more rigid. So more of a focus on creating larger openings than what your typical vinyl could. Now, putting structural reasons aside, you're pretty much capped with vinyl at 4 or 5 stories. Now, if we're building a larger passive house structure, we're going to need a product that's going to allow us to build greater than 3 or 4 stories. Again, the reason why we cannot use vinyl really greater than 5 stories is going to be it uses plasticizers, which equate to the product becoming flammable. The UPVC product is not flammable. Again, I'm just kind of providing some background here on where we would use this product. So it is unplasticized. And the reason why vinyl can't be in those projects greater than 3 or greater than 4 stories is because it can't pass the ASTME 84, which is your flame, smoke, and spread test. So I just quickly wanted to kind of separate ourselves from vinyl, especially for those who are not familiar with the difference between PVC and UPVC. Now, a little background about Intus Windows. We started about 15 years ago down in the Washington, D.C. area. At that time, our focus was on single-family residential style projects. Now, about 12 years ago, we decided to take the plunge to go fully commercial. So since then, we've expanded from Washington, D.C., all the way to Philadelphia, Boston, New York, where I'm located in the Midwest. We actually service the entire country. Now, a good fit product or project for the polymer product, anywhere from those even 2-story passive house structures all the way to 30 stories. Now, you may remember me mentioning we are a polymer cladded steel framed window. Because of that steel framing, it allows for very large openings. We're going to talk about that later in this presentation, but up to 70 square foot for a fixed window. Make sure we can let all that natural light in and make up for that other 90% reduction in utilities that we need for our passive house. Now, continue on here about us. Now, passive house verified windows. Of course, that's why we're here. Passive House Institute, as well as FIAS. Now, additionally, when we start implementing polymer windows, we can also achieve lead points. Just by implementing your basic and most cost-effective polymer window, you can get up to 44 lead points. And now to break this down, the product that we sell and manufacture, even with our most cost-effective glazing package, you are going to get whole unit U values, and this is with double pane, mind you, of 0.26 and below. We're going to talk about some of the possibilities with a polymer on a couple slides to come and really check out more of the passive house rated products as well once we start getting into triple pane. Now, something else I would also want to mention, recycled polymer profiles. All of our profiles on the interior, which we'll see in a couple slides with some cross sections, are made of recycled polymer. Our product can be recycled up to 7 times after its use life, and we rate the use life for 50 years. Now, because of that steel reinforcement that I've mentioned, our product, let me go ahead and let some more people in. Our product does not have any R ratings. It does not have any LC ratings. We are a fully commercial window company, CW and AW windows only. Now, I will mention something with this AW window. It's very tough for window manufacturers to achieve this AW classification because of the air infiltration values. You have to have a 0.01 or lower air infiltration value to get that AW rated window. And that's definitely going to help out on our building envelope performance, which we'll see in a couple slides. Now, let's talk about capabilities of polymer fenestration, and then we're going to go ahead and check out some case studies as well as some actual pictures here. Now, low air infiltration values. This is going to be one of the prime ways to reduce or increase our envelope performance. Now, not only does air infiltration values affect thermal performance, but also affects acoustical performance as well. We can get down to this 0.01 air infiltration value because of multiple neoprene gaskets. On our passive house rated windows, we have 3 neoprene gaskets, 2 on either side of the operable and 1 on the fixed portion. Better thermal performance. This is our MO here at Intus. It's all about thermal performance, acoustical performance, structural performance, while being at a competitive price. So we can actually apply passive house rated windows to maybe not even a project that is passive house, or maybe just a project that's focusing on energy efficiency. But with a passive house rated product, our triple pane passive house rated window, our Supera 83, you can have whole unit U values as low as 0.10. Again, that is whole unit U values. That is not center of glass U value. That is whole unit with our frame included. We're actually working on the world's largest passive house structure, which we'll see later on. Hopefully it's going to get the certification, but we'll see it later on. I won't mention its name just yet. Now, something else I just quickly want to touch on, STC. The reason why I want to touch on STC is not even necessarily to talk about the STC, but it's to talk about those air infiltration values again. Especially in a passive house structure, we need to have good compression, especially if we have an operable window. Now, if we don't have that compression, you're going to get lower thermal performance and lower acoustical performance. So because of that compression, we can provide windows with an STC of up to 46, OITC 38. Low conductivity spacers on all of our windows, not only our passive house line, but we've used that principle from passive house line and used non-metal spacers on every single one of our windows. It's a non-metal Swiss spacer. It's also made of a desiccant, and we'll see a picture of that later in the presentation as well. And of course, that helps reduce the amount of thermal bridges. Now, if we've never actually paid any attention to a spacer bar, maybe next time we're in Starbucks, maybe next time we're just anywhere with some storefront, look down and you'll see a metal strip between the lights of glass. Most storefront manufacturers and most aluminum manufacturers would use a aluminum spacer, and a lot of thermal bridging happenings through that point. Now, I'm going to skip down to phthalate, lead, and BPA free because I want everyone to leave here. When we think of polymer windows, specifically Intus, I want everyone to think of UPVC. It's an unplasticized product, a UPVC window. So we're phthalate, lead, and BPA free. What does that equate to? No off-gassing. No off-gassing or reduction in off-gassing all the way across the board. Now, competitive pricing. This is all pie in the sky, right? If it's not applicable on our projects. If the window cost is too much, maybe the project gets VE down. That's not what we want. We want the best thermal performance possible. And with our product, starting at $30 a square foot, all the way to $55 a square foot for a passive house rated window. Now, I'm going to show, and apologies, I know we're quickly running out of time. I'm going to show some examples here of our product, and I want everyone to feel free to shoot any questions out, whether it's in a chat box, whether it's on your mic, feel free either way. But I'm going to kind of quickly breeze through here and stop me at any point. I'm happy to break down a certain slide. So this is a great example of our typical Supera profile. Now we have Supera and Supera 83. Supera 83 is going to be our passive house line. So this is not it. This is just our normal typical line. AW and CW classifications, I've already mentioned. Design pressure of up to 70. But what does that equate to? That means we can have very large openings. That's a 10, because of that design pressure, we can create max sizes. When it comes to a fixed window, 70 square foot. That is a 7x10 window. When we start looking at operable maximum sizes, a 5x5. That is 25 square foot operable. Really only a realm that aluminum is in. So you're going to get structural performance of aluminum. You're going to get better thermal performance than anything on the market, even better than fiberglass, while being at a vinyl price point. Now, this is our Supera 83. This is our passive house line, PHI certified. Now, we can get down to whole unit U values of 0.10 with this. And that we've actually increased that. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it here, but we do have a insulated frame as well. So we can get even lower whole unit U values. Once again, discussing STC. And as we can see, when I mentioned earlier of those recycled profiles, this is going to be an example of that recycled profile. All of this interior is used of recycled polymer. And then you can see that conductive material, which is that steel, we wrap, and that unconductive material, which is our UPVC polymer. So to give everyone a visual here, this is going to be the inverse approach to how aluminum tackles thermal performance. And what I mean is this: aluminum gets that structure from outside of their window, the frame itself. Then they insert that thermal break to increase thermal performance. What we do here at Intus and with UPVC windows, we have that steel as our reinforcement in the center, and we wrap that conductive material and a non-conductive material once again, which is the polymer. Now you can think of the polymer cladding material as an exoskeleton, even as a koozie, preventing that thermal bridging happening through the frame. And I just want to let everyone know, all of these data points that I'm mentioning can be backed up with testing reports. I have an abundance of testing reports, so feel free, whether it's thermal, acoustical, structural, we do everything through Intertech Labs, and I'm happy to provide our testing reports. Now, I'm going to quickly kind of skip over this and jump into some more pertinent topics. Now, this is something else I wanted to mention why I have everyone. Our one window, one tree. Now, this is our eco mission. So for every window we sell, we plant a tree. We're actually just down in Washington, D.C. about 3 weeks ago for our first tree planting event since the pandemic. Woo! Finally, glad to see everyone's faces in person finally. It's been too long. I'm going to quickly play a video, and this video is going to describe our eco mission. It's only about 90 seconds. It's going to do a lot better job than I can of explaining our eco mission. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm hoping this is going to work. Optimize for video clip, should share our sound. Can everyone hear that? Thank you, I appreciate that. Enrique, does Intus supply residential windows? Yes, we can. Our focus is on commercial windows, but we certainly can.
Our trees. This is us planting trees. By the way, we're Intus Windows, and we make energy-efficient windows. So, why is a window company planting all these trees? We've got a goal: to conserve energy and to increase our planet's carbon absorption. We conserve energy by helping create extremely energy-efficient buildings. We increase our planet's carbon absorption by planting trees, aka carbon absorbers. For every window or door purchased, we plant a tree to further offset a structure's carbon footprint. One window, one tree. By 2030, we anticipate planting 2 million trees in the United States every single year. That's about the size of 5,000 football fields, or 1/3 of Manhattan. We're not messing around. In fact, by 2036, we aim to offset carbon emissions enough to recover the absorption rate of 5 billion trees. Go big or go home, right? We're partnering up with the national, state, and local forests, parks, community groups, environmental groups, schools, governments, architects, developers, general contractors, and more to make an even larger impact within our communities. One Window, One Tree will include tree planting, reforestation, beautification projects, and sustainability education. From the forests, the parks, the cities, the buildings, and the windows we look through when we're in those buildings, the planet is our responsibility, all of ours.
I'm going to go ahead and stop it there, but I think we understand the point. And I just want to quickly mention this stat here as well. About 48% of all the greenhouse gases come from buildings. So it's incredibly important, and I'm sure we all know that, but it's incredibly important that we have a very energy efficient fenestration project, especially in our passive house structures. Now, I want to address Julia's question here in the chat box. How long does it take from order to delivery? Now, Julia, it depends where you're at, but say we're sitting here in Boston, we quote right around 16 to 17 weeks as it sits from releasing to fabrication to windows on your job site. Now, for those still on the call too, I want to let everyone know we do a lot of lunch and learns. So I would be happy and feel free to contact me to schedule upstate New York. It would stay the same there, Julia. Now, I was just making sure we're not on the central of the country, because again, that may take another week or two. Now, I want to let everyone know we have 5 different AIA accredited lunch and learn presentations. So please feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to set something up with your firm, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it. I know we have about 90 seconds left, or maybe about 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw it back to you for any questions. I'm going to go ahead and kind of just breeze through some more slides here. Stop me if you'd like to learn more about a certain topic. But thank you again for jumping on. I tried my best here to condense this as much as possible to kind of give you a full background about Intus Windows. And just as a reminder, we supply a polymer cladded steel framed window with U values whole unit as low as 0.01. We use Guardian glass, and we are a dry glazed weep system. We can provide not only punched windows, but window wall, balcony doors, storefronts, limited curtain wall as well. Thank you, Passive House Network. I appreciate whoever is running that. Thank you for the kind words. And as mentioned, I would be happy to provide anyone with our testing reports, back up any of the claims that we made when it comes to performance data. As we see, FIAS and PHI certified. All of our testing, pardon me, all of our windows will come with NFRC labels as well. Again, Guardian glass. Here's a good visual of that Swiss spacer. We use a 5-layer Renolit FX film. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. So this is our finish is AMA 2605 or better. So you do get a minimum 10-year finish warranty. And if anyone would like to see any examples or references of other Passive House projects we've done, let me just go ahead and skip ahead and show off some projects that we have done. Park Avenue Green. This is with Curtis and Ginsburg Architects, completed in 2018 in the Bronx. 1875 Atlantic Ave. This is with Studio C. Great example. So this will be, when it is officially completed, this will be the largest fully affordable Passive House building in the world. We're currently under construction right now in New York. This is with Handel Architects, 26 stories. So if you've, yes, they are Bernard, and it's intuswindows.com. That's simple. I would be happy, if I had your email, I'd be happy to send you a hyperlink. Maybe I can here in the chat box. Just give me 1 sec. It should be on our booth as well, but just to make it a little easier on you, I'm copying the hyperlink as we speak. Thank you, Bernard. So if you've ever questioned, does a Passive House be a single family residential project? I think this project will put that misconception to bed. A 26-story Passive House rated project. Continuing on. This was actually the first U.S. affordable senior housing development to meet PHI standards. This is with Think Architecture in Corona, New York. And for those maybe first experience with anything to do with passive house, and we're still trying to get our, cut our teeth here, look how much EFIS is being used on this corner unit. Should be a great example here of how high some of those standards are. Beach Green Dunes, Curtis and Ginsberg Architects. This is another FIAS certified building. This was actually back in, I want to say 2018 or 2017. This was going to be the largest FIAS certified building in New York or in the US upon completion. I believe that has been beat since, but as you can see, we have been doing passive house projects for a very long time and have done some very notable ones as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw my email in the chat box as well for anyone that wants to learn more. Like I said, I would be happy to set up a lunch and learn with your firm as well. Notable thing on this project, everyone, why have you? We used an AW70 rated window on this project because, as you can see, it's right on the Atlantic Ocean. This is actually an affordable housing unit as well. So not only was it an affordable housing, it was also FIAS certified. It's right on the Atlantic Ocean. We're using our AW70 window. So really a great example of some of the capabilities of our product. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone that did hop on. I appreciate your time, and I hope we can reconnect soon. I'll leave the last 60 seconds here just in case anyone has any questions. But thank you again. Have a great weekend. And you will be seeing my colleague next week if we attend the physical meeting, as well as I'll be back on for the virtual.